BFS Live, episode 88. We're here.
Hi, guys. I'm glad we're on the podcast. Thank you, Dave, for having me do the show. I'm Jack Seeley. I'm a Team BFS rider. I've been riding BMX for about 10 years, plus probably some. It's been a good ride, and I'm glad I chose BMX.
It's cool you're here because you've been in the chat for a lot of episodes.
Yeah, I'm always lurking, letting everybody know I'm tuned in, and I'm glad to be programmed myself now.
Cool. My life's still been crazy. I didn't get to prepare for this episode either because this life's happening so fast, but I'm not as run down as I was for the past two episodes. I was shot the past two episodes. So
nice.
I'm happy to be here and probably a little more alert. Toward the end of that Stevie episode, I was conking out. It's tough. God, was it Stevie or the other one? It was the Tom one. I was here for 17 hours that day.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, ugh.
You're getting prepped for Wrench Fest? Was it around then?
No, that was during spring break. So I was here early with the Reanimate guys, doing the ramp project, and then staying late for this. So
sweet. Yeah, I've been in finals week, so I haven't, I've been knowing this is on the schedule, but I've just been looking forward to it and not really overstressing it. Honestly, there's a lot of ways to look at an opportunity, like being able to talk about your experiences. And I don't think I would. I've just wanted to go in with an open mind, so I had to just push it all kind of aside and make sure I could do my finals. Had my thermo final today and my design mechanics final presentation today as well. It's been a really good day. I got the Rock City skate park session outside and then the quintessential BFS session once it started raining. And that's like what I really like about the scene here and having this place is like it's always that welcoming home. And like you get the outside session a little less packed, you can get your lines in and have fun, and then you come here and it's home and you're all in shelter from the elements and it's a good time.
And you decided to move here. Or you moved here for school. We decided to go to school here because of the scene, right? Because of the indoor park, at least in part.
That's right. I really wanted to stay in state for tuition reasons.
Because you're from Albany originally?
Yeah.
Albany proper?
No. I'm from Cherry Valley, New York, and that's near Cooperstown, New York, home to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up around that area, always did the riding scene. Like my friends that I considered that I grew up with through the riding scene were from the Albany area, just because that was like the closest, biggest, most inspiring scene kind of around. And that's where it was at for me. So I got to know a lot of the guys out there. But the schools weren't really cutting it, and I just didn't think it was the area that I wanted to stick with. Coming out here, I was pretty amped to come to RIT. It's been a wild ride there, and I'm glad I've done what I have. But yeah, having the skate park on the list was a big reason because I knew it would kind of help me through the winters. And if I'm going to stay in New York for the colleges, I know having to decrease the amount of biking. Plus having the winter aspect on it is going to take a toll on me mentally, and I knew that I wanted to have an outlet that was like my thing. Like I do BMX, I knew I could access it here, and I feel like it definitely worked out because I've sessioned here hard every academic semester I've ever been here. Like apart from last fall when I was doing my co-op, I've been here, and I love it. It's just like it's the scene. Every time I can come back, I feel welcome, and I wouldn't change it.
You've been coming here for a long time, really.
Yeah,
I remember you were like a little kid when you first started coming.
Totally.
Even
I remember,
from being that far away.
Yeah, that's right. Well, around the time that Cranks was going on, in the final years of Cranks, that was my local indoor park. It was still a 2-hour trek, but it was worth it. Figure go to any good ski mountain from around where I'm from, it's a 2-hour trek anyways, and I wanted to ride BMX a little bit more. So going out to Cranks, that was the spot. And I was pretty I didn't come to RASP really. I didn't feel like I wanted to come all this way just because I had Cranks and that was such a resource to me. So I didn't come here until Breaking Free happened, whereas that first winter after Cranks, and it was probably 2 months into you being open. I remember I came here on an 18-inch bike, rode with Jaden Mucha. That was like super sick. And
A little foreshadowing. Jaden's coming on the podcast next week.
Awesome. That rules. I'm glad we'll be able to hear his experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom used to come out, right?
Yeah,
I remember your mom being fairly youthful as well and like hanging out. I remember like I don't remember. I seem to have a memory of maybe it was one of the bowl contests or something, but like hanging out on the couch at the bowl and talking to your mom.
Oh, that rules. Yeah, she loves it out here. So when I was younger and in like middle and high school, there was this kid I had known from Woodward. We got to know each other during one Woodward week, and I figured out he was from the Albany area, my buddy Robert, and I was like real close with him, and I was like, this is the dude that I want to have my birthday party with. So we would come out and around springtime, March time. My birthday is March 20th, right? So we would come out around that and ride. It was always a good time. We did that until like must have been 2017 to 2019 we did that for my birthday, and then COVID happened that kind of slowed it down.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really fun. Yeah.
So how old are you now?
I'm 21.
20. Wow, 20. So you turned 21 this March? You didn't tell me?
Yeah. I think I let you know. I must have.
I'm so busy.
Yeah, that's all right.
How long have you been riding BMX? I mean, at least 8 years at least.
Yeah, I got my first kink complete, and that was like, all right, like we're going to take the BMX direction seriously. And I got that. I must have been 3rd grade. So probably about 8 or 9 years old when I was like stepping into BMX and like fully taking it to the T. I started riding bikes like about 4 years old. I must have taken the training wheels off, and I was doing a lot of like mountain bike riding, just kind of the hard tail, old style, like normal bike with 3 gears up front, gears in the back, something you take to school. And it was a fun bike. I took that through the woods. But coming into BMX, it was a different feeling, and I got into it because I was switching schools. I met this kid, Devin, who my mom was doing like school workshops for the kids at the school I was going to, and she met him. He exposed me to BMX, and then I had to do it. Like I had a couple BMX style bikes before I got this purple kink complete, but once I was on that purple bike, I knew I was on the right path because I wanted to go custom with it like right away. And then I kind of had to learn like, no, I kind of got to earn these parts and earn like why the upgrade is important. And I think I did, but it took a lot to even do smaller things. I was like 8, 9, 10 on a 20-inch bike for the longest time. And eventually I was so serious about this that I wanted to like progress and be able to like manipulate the bike more like I would see the guys in the videos do it. And I went down to an 18-inch bike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And that like really, really worked out. Like I was probably 3 years into BMX and doing like kicker jumps, riding wheelies on the street, gaining general bike control. I think I had done some like ride up bank to fakie type of deal, and learning what the cassette is, learning what taking the brakes feel.
Wait, so hold on. I'm just like doing some math ahead. What year were you born?
2004. That's
crazy.
And by the time it was 2014, I was serious about BMX, and I got a different kink 18-inch complete bike. Actually, one of the ones you have here, the black one with the green rims.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had that one. Rode it for about a year. Snapped the down tube off of it the full way around. I got it brazed by a friend and rode it at Cranks, and that was really fun. Then I got into a Sabrosa 18-inch frame because
one of those other rental bikes is a Sabrosa 18-inch.
Yeah. So when I was doing the 18-inch bikes, it was kind of like an underground thing. There was only like 3 tires you could choose from. It was like Colony or S&M forks. Yeah. It was really limited. So the kind of market for that after I stopped needing it, expanded a lot, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I remember Kink made the Bantam frame, fork, and bar.
Yeah.
And Jaden was on it, and Marcus Christopher was on it.
That rules. Yeah, but that kind of served what it needed to. I got truck drivers on an 18-inch bike.
You've been that good that long.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
So.
You've been good as long as I've known you. So
I've been putting in the work.
Certainly.
Just because it makes me feel really good, and it's like tangible progress that I'm like feeling and experiencing. That's positive and seems cool to me and keeps me motivated to.
You're
get
very
through.
good at bike riding.
Thank you.
I've been around bikes for a long time.
Yeah, more than I've been alive.
Yeah. That's
Right.
what I was saying before. Like I think the first clip I had in a video I think was 2004, and I started filming for my video in 2005. I think.
Yeah, I've been a little bit sparse with like my video part edit series. I've had a couple of cool ones here and there, but I mainly just.
You could probably just take all the clips you've posted here over this winter and make it into like a banger, like 5-minute video. Like you have like the it factor though. Like you're really like just very talented on a bike. It looks like it comes natural to you, which isn't the case. Like I'm pretty decent, but it didn't come naturally to me. I mean, you said you really worked for it too. But there are some people like Jaden's this way, Tanner's this way, you're that way, where it's just like. It's just something there, right? Like it's hard to find similar analogies. The only one I could ever translate it to is when it comes to like musicians. There are some people that like, man, it's like music is a language, and there's something the way they're wired that's like, oh, it's for them. It's just not as hard. And I'm not saying it's not hard for you.
Yeah.
But like
I'm just glad I've stuck with it. I've had so many opportunities where I've become a little bit interested in these doorways that open, like coming to school. I could have gotten to a lot of different like clubs or activities or things that they had to offer, but I was just like, I want to keep doing BMX, and I'll work through school as hard as I can to make sure that I have time to ride. And like that just makes me feel like it's all worth it. I get to ride, and it makes me feel whole. I don't know. I like to do all the jumps, every type of riding.
well, ride trails, grind rails.
Yeah, that's right. That's the motto. And I'm kind of glad that I've adapted into that mindset probably over the past semester more than ever, but I was influenced to get into more jumping and style and technique with transition throughout like the North Carolina experience. And I'm glad I stuck with that, because I could have just came back and stuck to all the rails and the things that I know that are like I've done here before. But no, I'm trying to get different.
That really speaks to that, whatever that it factor I was talking about. Like Jaden was only really like a park rider, really. But then he wanted to ride street, and well, lo and behold,
Yeah.
he could do it.
Curved ledge, pegs, hard three, all that.
Yeah, and then the same thing. You were doing street stuff, and you're like, oh, I want to jump boxes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of riders nowadays who are good at like the technical grind bar spin stuff, and they cannot air a quarter.
Seriously.
They cannot jump a box, and it's like, maybe in skateboarding that's more common because skaters tend to stay in like their domains. But BMX always was like this. At least when I was a kid, all the pros did everything.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming very, very, very specific.
Seriously, because you want to be able to show up to any spot or any invite and just shred because it's there, whether like whatever spot, you know what I mean, whatever city. It's just good to know you have like all these different terrains that you can pick and choose from, because they all make you feel different. They all like you work towards them differently. You approach it different. you might even dress differently for it. Like, you know what I mean? Wear a tight shirt, you know you're going to be doing tables and turn downs, stuff like that,
I don't
man.
ever do a table or a turn down with a hoodie on.
Oh,
it could
gosh.
be 20 degrees out. I will take my hoodie off. I will do the turn down. I will put the hoodie back on.
And
You only got to
better.
get your handlebar caught in your pocket one time to be like, I am not making that mistake ever again.
I'm victim to it on all of the.
He's like rip the sleeve of your shirt out. Yeah.
I did a turn down the other day, and it was a brand new pair of pants. Put the brake lever right there in the old pants.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it! But you know what I mean. You gotta. Maybe that means I need to pull up more on my turn downs and bring it up into my kind of lower ribs there.
Yep.
Because I think that's what I should be doing. So I've learned from it.
There was one summer I rode front brakes, and I had the front brake on the back brake side because when you're trying to do a turn down, it was I didn't like it there.
So I'm like right hand brake and turn down in like this, right? So I've considered running that lever on the other side for the turn down safety factor. But then when you do the tabletop, your wrist rolls into the lever. So it's kind of a pick and choose there.
Yeah. Well, you have a unique style, and I mean style not in like trick selection, just the way your riding looks. It's an interesting amalgam. This is going to be a very like nuanced BMX discussion.
Sweet.
Hopefully, if Matt Smith, he probably listens to all these. He'll
Matt
probably
Smith,
text.
Yeah.
He's coming on soon. Yeah.
Sick.
These are the kind of conversations we would have. So I would say like you're super talented, but it doesn't, like I said earlier, like it's like, God, I said like it almost looks like it comes easy to you, but it actually doesn't. Like when you watch you do a run and you just bang out all these crazy tricks that, 15 years ago when I was riding were like NBDs and now you just do them all the time. The fact that you could just do them, bam, 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 that's what I'm talking about. In your actual execution of the tricks, so Jaden like floats. He's got this like pump and he floats. Tanner has this, like he's just like one with his bike.
Tanner?
Like the balance point is like it's part of him. Jake Petruchik is like this as well. They have this like effortless style.
Tanner rides in cursive.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Then I don't have an example for this of like a rider around here, but there are riders that they're entertaining to watch because it looks like they're on the verge of losing control all of the time. So you never know what's going to happen. And like you have a style of riding where like it always looks a little bit reckless, and it's like I ride in a very muscly way. I'm very like I'm not smooth. I'm just so you have somewhere between this like I'm muscling it into existence, and it's a kind of like a little like flaily, loose cannony. Like it always looks like you're on the verge of losing control, and then it's like no, it's actually just like a truck to Smith, the hard 180. That's perfect, and so like it's almost when you watch you ride, it's like you're on the edge of your seat until you land it perfectly. And I know you land everything perfectly, but I still like the way you do the tricks. It's always like, oh, is it good? Oh, yep, of course you landed it. Of course you landed it. But while you're doing it, it looked a little crazy.
Yeah.
Looked a little crazy.
Well, I don't know. I usually.
We got Mark is in the chat. Austin's in the chat. Kyle's in the chat.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Brian Partridge is in the chat.
The NC guy. We got Delaney. That's from the welding club. We got Kyle.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Well, so like when I ride and do a line, I like to not fully plan it out, and then once I feel it out, then I'll like repeat line and work on it. But to like just come up with, I guess, originality and tricks that just feel like they should work here, or that the setup is similar, so I want to do it this way. I just take a sample run and then I try and work on it. So maybe throughout that process I get these bits and parts of the line right and really on point, but getting towards a finished product is challenging, and being able to be comfortable with myself on a clip, like, oh, I know I could clean it up this much better, but I kind of just want to ride actually. So I don't know, and I know you see me ride in person too. So like, I don't know if it comes off in person as well, where you're not expecting the next thing.
Well, to bring in, this probably might be flattering to you. I'm from Jersey, and when I was a kid, I used to go to the Incline Club, and I used to be around Scotty Kramer all the time. Maybe once a week, once a month, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like you and him have something similar in the way you ride, not in the tricks you do, but it's like it's this thing where it's like you could see you have this energy, like, and you want to get it out. And when you drop in, it's like 120, and it's just like the run's gonna be sick, and you're gonna do all these tricks, and every trick, it's like it's not gonna be chill. It's like, and like Scotty was crazy. Scotty would like take like 3 big pedals across the deck, and he would like bunny hop and jump into the quarter pipe, just like, where the F is this guy going?
Yeah.
So a little different because he was just big air. You just like, you do a run, it's like crazy trick, and it's just like, it's like you're possessed, like there's something in you, and I gotta get all this stuff out of me right now.
That's the main reason I ride, is it lets me let go of every single thing and problem I have going on, and I think that's why it gets channeled like that.
Yeah.
Because it truly helps me stay sane. And if I didn't have it, I'm sure by now I would have figured out another positive way to expel all whatever that energy is. But the fact that it's BMX and it's what I've grown into and learned to know, I'm really glad it turned out that way, because it's like it lets me like smash things and go fast. It's like the combination of like, riding a motorcycle and going to like a freak out room where you know what I mean? It's like, and it feels like, lawless in a sense. Well, you're not going to do anything crazy on a bike that really needs a lot of laws, but it feels like you have this unstoppable creative freedom that nobody really is in their right to tell you don't go do that.
That, I agree. I love it. There was a point in my life where I was pretty jaded with BMX, but that's BMX, the subculture, BMX, the industry. I love bikes and the action of BMX, and finding people like you and some of our friends in the chat, and Matt Smith, who love the bikes for the activity, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in BMX, and I'm sure this is true of skateboarding and scootering, where like there's these people that for some reason think that BMX like owes them something. Now, before we go down this rabbit hole, everyone in the chat now knows you and knows that you're incredible at riding. You were sponsored. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But like before we go into this, I want to, for the people that might listen to this that don't know you, you are like, despite not being really sponsored right now, you are a professional caliber rider in every sense of that word. It just across, again, we'll talk about it later, but you have been sponsored. You have a great attitude, and you're amazing at riding, right? So pulling back to where I started, does BMX owe you anything, or do you owe BMX anything?
No, BMX totally doesn't owe me anything. And
that is always the right answer.
Yeah. And if I owe anything to BMX, it's because I want it there, and like I'm going to actually go do the work to make the change. Like, for example, digging and maintaining a set of trails. Like, I've never had my own set of trails that is like completely mine, that I dug up from the ground. But if I'm riding that set of trails and doing gap feeble to lander down the side of the landing and messing it up, I should totally go learn how to fix it, learn what the dirt feels like, get in tune with the landing, and it makes you feel more wholesome about riding the jump the next time.
In my opinion, it's better off paying, but
Yeah,
I was joking.
Seriously.
people that have dirt jumps. I'm like, I know it's no dig, no ride, but can I just pay you $20 like you pay me? Because I don't want to dig. No, no. Pull back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in BMX that think that BMX owes them something, especially people that could be in your position, especially because you are so talented at riding and you were sponsored. And you could very easily be in the position you're in now and think that BMX owes you something, right?
Yeah.
And right now, BMX is hurting. Action sports are hurting. No one's got money. Like, no one's getting sponsored. There's probably 100 other kids that are as good as you that are getting no love as well, just because the brands just don't have it in the cards right now, frankly. Could they, throw you some parts, to keep you happy? Maybe, yeah, for sure. But, like, no one's getting paid right now. And, it speaks to your character that you don't, I've never heard you say anything bad about any bike company or bike ride or anything at all. And you very easily could.
Yeah, totally. Well, I believe that we're all in it in riding for like really similar reasons. And if you're like a certain way outside of riding, I don't really like, unless I'm really close with you, I won't consider like a lot of negative parts about people if they're riders and stuff like that. Just because like I just want the extra friend to be able to like ride with and like have a session with. Growing up, being on solo sessions a lot and not really having direction, it kind of made me more willing to believe that any BMX rider was like truthful and was in it to like feel it and want to be riding. Could have been working on a car, could have been, building a farm or something. People do whatever they want, but if you take the time out already, that weeds out so much about you that I'm more willing to connect with you despite anything.
Did the BMX kid that's still inside of me is always a little bit like there's moments and this conversation is doing it right. I feel like a little heartbroken that I can't be the person I was in BMX for all those years because I have all this other stuff with the skate park. It's like bigger, I'm doing what I can for BMX, but it's everything now, scootering, skateboarding, like just trying to keep the park open, trying to help action sports in general. But like, man, I was like a, cornerstone of the riding scene everywhere I was for a long time. And like,
actually, absolutely. And just, being the director of a mission wherever you had gone with that, whether it was running 3 different like bike departments out of a shop, or being on the road and not really knowing that next step, running out of printed map directions and still needing to go to the next place, like something like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed your semester's over and you're getting out of here, because when you're here, it's like you're like a piece to the scene here that's like pretty significant. There'll be a void when you're gone.
Yeah. I feel that everybody is so accepting of me here, that it just helps me be a lot more friendly, helps me let go of any stresses I had prior to walking in the door. It really helps out, like even when I was hurt coming through here and like just needing to hang out.
For sure.
I need you guys just as much as I might fire up a session.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Cheers.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'm trying to not pivot because the skate park's always been like a community center. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make it even more so. Like, I'd like to see more people just come here and just like hang out.
That's right.
I'm doing the open mic night and stuff. Well, Kyle, I would say, going to respond to a comment. Kyle might be, Jack might be the staple that held the pages together.
Wow.
Anyway.
Thank you, Kyle.
He said Jack is the glue here. He always sets up the group chat to see who's coming to bike night. I mean, yeah, you've been exceptional in promoting me while you're up here. Like, you have a great attitude.
I think I've said that you are the glue as well.
Yeah,
so
probably,
I appreciate like you guys,
Yeah, for sure.
Knowing how much I put in to just want to see a couple of different faces out come ride.
Yeah, but when I said like you're such a good example for like just across the board, because again, you've been sponsored, you're incredible at riding. Like many people, if they saw how good you are, they could just expect you to be an asshole. Sorry, to
Certainly.
be a jerk. Because a lot of kids that are as good as you kind of are cocky because they're that good. And frankly, you're better than everyone in Rochester by a lot. And you're as good as people in Rochester that were sponsored and were pretentious about it, And despite that, you're incredibly humble. Like you are anything a brand could ever hope for. Like you've promoted me as if I was sponsoring you before I was sponsoring you,
Yeah. I mean, like,
And I wanted to reach out to you to like hook you up. I mean, for years now, there's people like who's the kid from New York who's like a big time guy now?
Billy Perry.
No, New York State.
Oh, okay.
He does mountain bikes now. Earhart.
Oh, Christian Earhart.
Christian.
Yeah.
I've wanted to help him so much over the years, and I finally like reached out to him, and I was like, I can't do anything for you anymore because you're legit.
Right.
But he might come here and try to like film a vlog in the summertime or something.
That would rule.
In hindsight, I wish I could have helped because I remember being like, that kid is putting in work and he's so good and nobody cares. Like literally, like finally people care and like he's fucking swearing. He's doing it now. He's at Travis Pastrana's house and like just it's crazy. But for so long, everyone just slept on that kid.
Well, he had these insane pallet dirt jump, foam resi, leaf blower landing ever in his backyard that he trained on.
Oh, dude,
seriously.
yeah, that dude was grinding.
Yeah. And he was even making film production out of it with his little brother. I think that was the situation.
I'm not surprised at all that he is where he was. Like he's put in so much work for so long. Someone clip this and send it to him. That kid deserves everything he's getting right now.
Absolutely. And he's taken some pretty bad slams over the years, and I've never let that really like slow him down or change his style or let it define him. And it just shows that he's willing to get back up. He's on fire, and he has this like next generational level of commitment that like you get from being young when like R. Willie and Jed Milton were out here pulling like quad backflips on the big resi back in 2015, stuff like that, like where there it's possible. Whether he wants to be on downhill and out west doing like the bigger mountain biking thing and riding a really big jump or going really fast, he can tone it right back into BMX. Ride flat ground if he wants to. He can hold a manual, which is a really big thing.
What did he do? At one of the bowl contests, he did like I think a heel clicker over the spine in the bowl.
Goodness.
Which is just like an absurd.
Yeah. Doing pendulums, being able to just control every bit of you when you're in the air and working with transition.
And he's doing that
really
on big
impressive.
bikes now.
Yeah.
Is he just got sponsored by Trek?
That's really
that's big, yeah.
Big, remarkable thing he's done there. That's incredible. Congratulations on that.
I hope I can, through my internet influencer crap, can grow to be big enough that I could then create a network where I could find kids like him or like you and help them get that be that launch pad for them to get the following and get the sponsorships that they deserve, frankly, with the amount of work you guys have put in.
Yeah. I'm really glad for how you're presenting your Breaking Free team right now, because it shows like a lot of the younger crowd and community that like, hey, here it is. Here, if you put all this work in and utilize Breaking Free as a resource to be able to like express yourself like this, maybe you can be on the team and that was a big reason I worked towards a lot of stuff I did, is because I wanted to be somewhere with it, and I wanted to be on a team, and I wanted something, right? Whatever they can give me. I don't know. I just thought if I worked hard for it, then I don't know. I might.
Your local sponsorship is way more what will do more for you than trying to get hooked up by these big brands.
Exactly.
Everyone, we've talked about this in the podcast. We talked about it with Tanner, and we're going to talk later with you, and we're going to talk about it with Jaden. But like getting sponsored by your local skate park or your local bike shop or your scooter shop, if that exists, like that person is going to do more for you because there's actually a more mutual relationship where you could help each other, right? If you're like all these kids in Rochester who are scooter kids and they're sponsored by some scooter shop in California, it's like they're just using you to sell product and you're getting like pennies, right?
Absolutely.
Versus here, it's like I think I give my guys a pretty fair deal, and then it's a 1-year contract, and based on how many clips, how much you promote me over the year, I'll decide, all right, am I going to do this again with you or not? And
Right.
some people are very self-motivated and post their own stuff and tag the page and whatever, and then some people don't, and that's fine. It's you're great, and Tyler's great, Stella's great, Harry's doing pretty good.
It rules.
Pretty much everyone's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not about how good you are. Like for me, I'm basically sponsoring people who already support me. So it's like it's a sure thing. I'm not really going out on a limb too much with people because I already know they're people that they get it, they know me, they understand the skate park, they're supporting me anyway. Like Harry's on the team, but he's a Patreon subscriber at the free level. He doesn't pay to ride anyway.
Okay.
So I basically can't give him anything.
Yeah, he's got it.
I give him I give him some shirts or whatever, but
yeah. Well, I think it like being on the team, and when I come here, it helps me like reel it in with any type of interaction I'll get, because a lot of times I'm real nervous about like trying to work really hard on something in front of like people who are trying to like get to know me.
You
or
get nervous
something
about that?
It's more like I just think I want to come off it as better, and I think like being on a team to some part kind of helps with that. It puts you in a different mental thing, and just the fact that I know you and know what kind of like energy works for the skate park, it helps me interact with people and build better connections through riding, because it's not always easy at first. Sometimes I'll just click with people very, very fast, like Nick, like Googe. But other times I don't know. It's up and down with people sometimes for me.
I mean, it's how people are in general. Especially in the action sports community, you get some questionable people once in a while.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, there's that's part of why is being as good as you are and as humble as you are and supportive and everything. It's like the full package. It's awesome. There are plenty of people that come in here that are, not half as good at you as you, and are way cocky and way too cool. And it's tough, I wish if everyone was like you, my life would be a lot easier,
Sweet.
Not even about the good you are at riding, just your attitude is awesome. If all my customers had that attitude, it'd be a great job.
Yeah. We'd have more.
I'm not saying it's not a great job. I do have a great job, and I do love all my customers, but you guys totally understand the full spectrum,
Right. I'm just being me, and I'm glad that I can offer like just like genuineness and stuff like that.
Do you think you act any different because you were sponsored, or are on my team, or is it like a slight, or like is it in the back of your mind, or is this really kind of how you are?
I think that I was really nervous about being sponsored while I was sponsored, because I didn't know like the people behind it, and I didn't really understand like the.
Well, let's get a groundwork there. Who were you sponsored by?
I rode for Shadow Conspiracy and Sabrosa bike BMX companies.
Shadow does parts, Sabrosa does frame.
Right.
And how long was this?
I rode for them for probably 3 years.
Okay. And how did that begin?
So I was always very influenced, especially when I was younger, by Mark Burnett, who came out of Albany because he was going to like Simple Session, sponsored pro trips. You know what I mean? Like BMXer, really good. Just like the local pro to look up, even though he's not like in my hometown or whatever. That's as close as I get, right? To, you know what I mean? This is like the example for BMX that I worked on for a long time. He influenced me to have a Sunday frame when he rode for Sunday frame, and a Sabrosa frame when he rode for Sabrosa. It's just like the picture that I thought was cool and wanted to follow. Not that he like personally told me you have to ride this or whatever, but like you know, hey dude, like
of course.
this is the new hot thing. Like
I think
check it out.
Everyone
right?
can relate to the local pro you want to, you know.
Yeah,
for
totally.
Sure.
So I got some Sabrosa frame at a certain point. I was getting recognized on Instagram by Shadow and Sabrosa, getting followed back in like May 2019, and I just was like, oh okay, like I'm getting a follow. I think I'm in like doing the right direction. Like I was already like using their hashtags because it was like what I wanted to look like, how I wanted to like promote it. It was just seemed like the thing to do. Everybody seems to tag the parts companies that they either ride for or want to ride for, or just have on their bike. So that's what I was doing, and it seemed to get recognition. I was like, okay, sweet. And it was a little bit weird, but one time I switched out my Sabrosa frame to this old Sunday frame I was riding because it was around a time that I was trying to really choose between a 27.5 and a 21-inch top tube. So I was like, I switched back, posted a couple clips, and I actually got reached out by, I think, the Sabrosa account. Like, hey, like, what's going on with your bike? Like, do you... I'm like, oh, I just want to know, like, make my decision on the frame size. And somehow a couple months after that situation, they were like, okay, we want to hook you up with like a frame, like pick out the frame. And I was like, Mark Burnett frame. I want the Mark Burnett frame in the 21-inch, and pick out some cranks and get a almost newer bike right to your door. Crazy. And I had never met like anybody to do with the company, no phone call.
This is all via Instagram.
Instagram and email of like, yeah. And so I that was about November 2019, built that bike up, and I was like, sweet, like I got a package deal, like I might be on like the Flow program, but like they didn't say I was anything. They just wanted to help me and help support me, which I guess is fair because I was still 15 years old.
Yeah.
Is this 15-year-old kid even going to stay it with this?
Oh, God. Dude, 2019 was that long ago? Jeez.
Dude.
It's like the years start coming and they don't stop coming.
Yeah. So I took that as a sign, like I'm on the right path. And in that next summer, during the COVID summer, 2020, I just filmed a really cool street part in my hometown out of like nothing, the nothingness spots that I grew up riding, and ended up with clips from flat ground to handrails to roofs to almost you name it. Find the spot. I made like stuff work for that edit, and it was no.
And this is on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. It's on Shadow and Sabrosa's
cool.
YouTube channels. I was actually getting fed up. I like didn't really understand the direction, and I almost went to like our BMX or whatever like company would promote it and be like, dude, here's my part. Can you just upload this? I'm done sitting on it. And I really wanted to. Had it just because I didn't really care, just because it wasn't. It didn't seem in their cards. And then I ended up sitting on it fully finished for like 8 months. And, and that was over like a winter almost type of situation. And then out of nowhere, they just reached out to me. By this point, we had a phone number to Ryan Schur somehow.
Oh, cool.
That happened at some part of the line. But like probably the first time I ever got to like speak and interact with him was on a phone call saying, you know, like, you really seem like you're with it. You would want to ride for the flow team. Here's our deal. And the deal was 2 bikes a year in like bike part components individually, just because they probably expect me to want custom bikes, right?
Yeah.
So I got cool bikes and I got some clothing here along the way.
So
right?
you went from being just kind of air quotes hooked up
Mm-hmm.
to being on a defined team.
Yeah.
Was there a contract?
No, I didn't. I never signed anything.
It was a
And
verbal contract.
I guess a verbal contract. They just told me, you know, keep up what you're doing, I guess. And I was by keep up what you're doing is I'm giving this almost every single post like as much as I can offer. Like every clip could be like working towards a next edit. There isn't a lot of my stuff early on ended up on Instagram because I self-filmed a lot and I just thought it was more presentable on the Instagram format. So I didn't do a compilation. I guess I always done compilations to music, but like real proper edits on YouTube or on like a streaming thing, whatever, real edit. So yeah, I was like, when they were asking me to be on the flow team, I already had the welcome edit. So all I had to do was go on Premiere, change a couple little intro details to make it welcome to Shadow, right?
You're like, I'm ready to go.
I know, seriously.
What a professional.
And I get they weren't like, okay, now get working on the second one.
Yeah.
There wasn't any of that, and that's where I didn't take initiative. I didn't just like, oh, of course I need to start working on the second one. No, I kind of relaxed on it for a while and just rode to have fun. I was finishing up high school, and especially at the end of high school, I was taking it pretty seriously, so I wasn't riding as much. And I just wasn't really going out like to skate parks or to like go to competitions. Like me riding for a long time is just like go ride around a really small town and go ride like bare minimum spots. Not that they're even spots, they're just what I know. They're just these little details about the town that you can ride essentially. So
there are very few things that are as relatable in BMX or skateboarding as I lived in a small town and there was like these 3 things we could ride. Like you say that and there are everyone's they're gonna think of this one curb. Mm-hmm. It was just tall enough.
Well, I did that.
I did a little bit of Trump right there. It's a great curb.
You can hit your peg on it. I did that welcome edit. And it was like I blew out my town, basically. I was like, I'm done riding this place. I'm over it. And then I just it was like going, like where I live, you have to go about an hour to get like anywhere with any resemblance of a skate park or like a street situation. And that's just, I don't know. I didn't go out as much to like ride until I came out here.
You say you're from Cherry Valley?
Cherry Valley. Yeah, New York. Out in the middle of nowhere, about an hour west of Albany. So yeah, like driving an hour to go just so that I wasn't riding alone. Like that's why I would want to travel to these places so I could have a session and not be alone. Mm-hmm. That it was like driving me nuts. And that's why I was like so attracted to coming here, because I was like, oh, there's a bike night. Oh, there's weekends.
They have a kite festival there, huh?
Yeah, biannually. Kite festival is really fun. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're not kidding. That is in the middle of freaking nowhere. Holy crap.
Seriously. Yeah.
Jesus. I'm like zooming out on Google and I'm still not seeing a single freaking town I know. Yeah, I see Cooperstown, Oneida.
Right. right. Out near Utica. Yeah,
Okay.
about 45 minutes southeast of Utica.
I'm from Utica, and I've never heard of steamed hams. Do you ever go to that Canastota skate park?
No.
Is that Lennox? Where's Lennox?
Lennox is in the Syracuse situation.
Wait, so from your house there, from Cherry Valley, Cranks was 2 hours? Because it's you gotta get through a whole bunch of crap to get there.
Yeah, I mean, maps might tell you something different, but I always felt like 2 hours. 2 hours, that's what it was. And it was really fun. I would get amped that 2 hours on the way and kind of plan out what I wanted to do.
What's this lake right here? Otsego?
Otsego Lake, yeah. Otsego Lake is pretty nice. It's about 9 miles tall.
Is that lake got an identity crisis? It should be a Finger Lake, but it's not?
Yeah, it's definitely hanging on by a thread to that family.
I mean, you're looking across the Finger Lakes here, and it just stops.
Well, if you look to the west of Otsego Lake, you'll find an even smaller one that has even more of an identity issue.
Casnovia?
Casnovia?
Casnovia? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, there's another one that's even close. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's...
They're small.
Canarago?
Canadarago.
Yeah,
Canadarago Lake. That's the one that's west of Otsego Lake.
I mean, just looking at this map, we're not a geology or geography podcast, but it really should be Finger Lakes. Let's start the petition right now.
Yeah.
Totally tangential.
Maybe Toe Lakes, they're a little smaller. You know what I mean? Instead of Finger Lakes. But yeah, growing up, nothing to ride. Had a Sabrosa rail. Sabrosa rail was a big game changer, through and through.
Did you pay for it, or was it part of your sponsorship by Sabrosa?
I actually got I got that for my birthday one year.
It's a great birthday gift.
Yeah. Yep. And it was right around COVID time. And there was a little spot with just enough pavement. It was an entrance to a cemetery, and it was just it was one lane of pavement, probably about 150 feet long, with grass on either side that I would just bring my Sabrosa rail over to and train for hours on end. It was so fun.
That checks out.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yep. That was a good time. I mean, I some of the tricks I look back on what I was doing, for example, the hard 180 crooked grind, hard 180 to fakie crooked grind. I remember pulling that out of somewhere, and that was I remember looking at it frame by frame, not understanding how you make this happen, right? It's so weird.
I would do hard 180 back Smith.
Hard
so,
180, yeah.
So
hard
180
180
motion.
It is
more balls, really.
Right, because if you just think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna hard 180 Smith this rail, miss my back wheel, it's just gonna fall perfectly onto that peg. It's just that you might not fall perfectly onto the peg, and then it will slip real quick, real easily. You'll get tangled up, disoriented. I love to pull that trick out again on some certain setups. If you're on a bank and you have a rail on a bank, that's a really good one to pull the hard 180 to crook, because then you can do, once you're in the crook, you're facing down the bank and you can do it over.
Have you ridden Tops Rail?
Tops Rail? No.
It's not Tops anymore. It's an Aldi, but it's down the block.
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I haven't rode a lot of street in Rochester. There was one night, Blaze, Googe, and the night we found you all on your crew, that was a good night. The jam we had, I haven't rode
Kyle,
a lot of
if you're in the
street
chat,
here.
These freaking BMX dudes, and no one took you to Tops Rail.
Yeah. I
Dear,
haven't rode a lot of street out
dear
here.
Lord. Tops Rail. Okay, first of all, it is a absolutely perfect asphalt bank to rail.
Sick.
And it is not a fat Rochester rail. It is a skinny rail. And
that's
the rail
a game changer.
is this tall, maybe 12, 14 inches tall. The bank is small. It's not a big bank. It's not scary. It is
Yeah.
like the perfect spot if you have like a sick flat rail trick that you want to legitimize on a street setup.
Right.
Perfect.
That rules.
Like I came from
Do we pedal here to get
You
there?
could,
Wow.
yeah. I came on the flat side and did 180 backwards crook, backwards pegs, pop over fakie into the bank. I did a
rules.
lot of tricks on that rail.
Doing the creditor like you were
Creditor,
talking about.
yes.
Yeah. I remembered a creditor I did the one time, and it was a 180 bar crook over switch crook. Easy cab. It's a regular spinning half cab because normally
Well, you said
go
you did 180 bar to crook,
Mhm.
fakie crook to crook.
Yep. And then you can do an
To
easy cab out.
Okay.
Because usually when you do a 180 to crook, you're always doing the opposite cab out because it's simpler, right? Or going to fakie.
So it's,
but if you're
you're right.
you've done
You're
a
right.
creditor, you're now half cabbing the way you 180 barred or 180'd.
Wow.
It's a mind blowing trick, and I don't think I pulled it out since that time. Like 4 years ago, I did it.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I remember I was like, what is a creditor? And I thought about, oh, well, it's a crook predator.
All right. So Sabrosa says, yeah, we'll give you like, 2 bikes worth of parts a year.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that went for how long?
About 3 years, and yeah, a good couple of bikes. And a lot of Instagram material.
Just like when you asked, did they just randomly send you? Did they check in with you? Or did you just
they didn't really check in with me. That was the thing. And I didn't know them personally on like a perceived level. And they didn't know that about me either. They had like neither of us really knew the other person that they were working with. And like that doesn't have to be the end all be all, but that was like the thing that made it feel like not real. So they would send me parts whenever I'd ask almost, and I would only ask like twice a year. I stick to the deal pretty well, and I would just send them an email with a parts list, and I'd get that parts list. And that was really cool.
So you're getting basically 2 bikes a year, or were you being more like reserved, like just getting the stuff
reserved.
I need? Okay.
Very reserved. Like I only built a 100% brand new bike like one time through them, and that was the first semester I came out here. It was this orange bike I had.
I remember that bike.
And that was 100% brand new everything, and that was like the coolest thing in that moment. And I probably got 5 or 6 frames throughout the deal, and I mainly just like, once you have a lot of these parts, you can just interchange them when you need. And at a certain point, you don't have to ask for a lot of things. If you can repair stuff and have a lot of reserve, just go do that. So that's what I did. So I didn't think I needed to ask a lot, and maybe I should have been asking at least for direction on like what should I be doing. Like, you just gave me a new bike. How do I like
so over
give
the 3
something-
years they never really gave you any direction at all? Like, did they check in with you to be like,
I don't not
even
really
say,
like
even say like, hey, keep doing what you're doing?
I was trying at a certain point, probably in like the middle of the interaction, to like, okay, I just had a 3-month period of like riding, and I was riding good, and I have 5 edits that are like 45 seconds, have music on them, they're ready to go, and I'd like message it to Ryan Schur or Ronnie Bonner, because at this point, at like some point, I had both of their phone numbers, and I'm pretty sure I still have both of their phone numbers. So I'd message it to them, and I guess I was just expecting they would take it as cue to like post it and do something with it. I didn't really ask for a lot when I would like send these content, but like They didn't really do much with the content. It didn't really go anywhere. And the thing was, it seemed like they already had their own way to download my clips. Because sometimes they would take a clip, right? Download it, put it in black and white, and then post it on the Sabrosa account.
Okay.
So I don't know who was. I don't even know if these are the dudes running the company. I don't know if that was the right call on me to be sending it directly to them, or if they have like another handler, or if I should have just been like working with at least a different subgroup entirely that's like more on a.
It's funny. It's just a similar story with Tanner's kink story, just like not clear on what's expected.
Right.
I mean, this sounds like it's probably a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. But then again, with
just
Tanner
felt
and Kink, it was local, so he actually knew the person. You'd never even met these people.
Never met them.
Wow.
Felt very disconnected. Just had no clue how I could ever ask to participate. Because, like, if you look at the content that I made while being sponsored, it looks to the T. It looks like any other sponsored riders the way they market it. I think I was killing it on that regard. But it was, I just didn't know the people, and it made me feel weird about riding these parts that I just had mixed feelings about. It was like looking at the parts and looking at the bike that was supposed to make me a sponsored rider and present me as sponsored and talented, and that somebody like that should be looked up to for being sponsored when you go to the skate park. Because that's how a lot of people treat it. Like, you're sponsored, now you're the best, and you're some people.
It's what everyone's striving for.
Yeah.
Everyone's dying to use the S word.
Exactly.
Even if it's the most BS sponsored thing ever. People are like, I'm sponsored. Like,
seriously.
Like, if I made up a BFS sponsorship where I just gave kids like free stickers that I already give away free and said, now you're sponsors, you know how many kids would have it in their Instagram bio that they're sponsored? Like, that's what,
Yeah. So I was just a little burnt out about looking at the bike, not sure what it represented. Not like I like having custom bikes, and honestly, a big factor of it was that like Shadow and Sabrosa have really cool parts that hold up and work for riding and are heavy duty. Great. I want to have the creative freedom over my custom bike, and not being able to choose from the entire BMX market, not being able to choose any different part that I wanted to. That wore on me, and I didn't like it.
I did a whole episode of the previous version of this podcast about why you don't want to be sponsored.
Yeah.
And part of that was like, basically your opinion's bought. You've bought and sold your opinion. You could no longer say, even if you're sponsored by Sabrosa and Sabrosa cranks sucked, you can no longer say, no, the Odyssey cranks are the best cranks out there. You say, no, you can't say that.
Right.
You get in trouble.
Well, these ones just came out and they're hot new on the market, and they're like look cool, whatever. I don't know. I'm a big on the fatigue testing, that like the Stampy process that we're talking about. Yeah, that's like you showed the meat and the potatoes of your design. I really
wish brands would be more upfront about it. Like, because like I said, when being sponsored means you are employed, like indirectly employed by this company to sell parts. That's literally your job. Your job is not to be good. Your job is marketing. You're trying to sell parts. And what these brands do is they find a kid like you who's or Tanner or Jaden or and they go, wow, this kid's young and he's really good. There's potential. So they take a gamble. We'll send them some parts, keep them happy, and then they see where it goes, And I mean, they thought you were good enough, even from being middle of freaking nowhere,
right?
But it's still kind of on the rider like just getting sponsored is like your foot. It's like your foot in the door.
Yeah.
You still have to take it to the next level. And hey, Tanner's story and your story, there's like echoes in there of like,
Right.
well, the brand didn't do anything for me, and it's like, well, because from their position, they kind of don't want
Yeah.
to do anything. They want to they want to give you stuff. So they basically stuck their Sabrosa or kink flag in you as a rider, and so other brands are like, oh, because like with all these brands, all the owners and the people that run these brands, they all know each other. So if you really try to go to one rider who's already sponsored by one brand and like try to swoop in and take him, like that's kind of like you're gonna piss off some people in the industry. So generally that doesn't happen. So they're trying to find riders that they can kind of, I'll send you some parts, keep you happy. So then if Cult messages you, no, I'm already being taken care of,
Right.
because they're all hoping to find that like that big hit rider. And, which is sad because like they want you to already be there before they want to sponsor you now.
Yeah. Yeah. Not being sponsored, I feel like I've just been able to work on it. I'll work on BMX tricks because they make me happy and because it's like the way that I want to be using my time. It's like if I have free time, I'd rather be riding than doing anything else just because it alleviates all of my problems. And maybe it kind of bites me sometimes that I turned to riding so much, and just having it be like such a big part in like my mood or like what I'm like the way that I'm holding myself or something like that. Yeah.
Ooh, sorry. So how did it end with Sabrosa?
I had just moved to North Carolina to work my co-op for Bobcat. That I was trying to do a co-op for school. At school, we need internship credit to graduate. Went on this adventure to get internship credit to get on the path towards receiving my engineering degree. And I was like, this is such a big change, and every other aspect in my life feels like it has creative freedom and is really malleable into any direction I want it to be. I have the opportunity right now to rebrand myself and reconsider myself and adapt, learn, and become a new person. And I felt that it was the right decision to not be a sponsored rider so that I could get immersed into the BMX scene down there. That at this point, I didn't know anybody yet. And I was just like, I don't want to just come out of nowhere, look real big being a sponsored person, and try and influence the scene and have the scene be influenced for the wrong reasons. And I was blunt about it. I just made an Instagram post explaining that, and I posted and tagged them in it. I didn't ask if I could do this previously. I didn't talk to anybody about that decision. I just made that decision and acted on it. And that was real.
So you didn't formally go to them and say I'm done. You just said I'm going to post this on Instagram and be like I'm done. They could see it and whatever.
Yeah, I did. And I honestly felt like almost no connection to the company because there was no foundation. I had nothing to build off, and I feel like I had proven my point over and over, and that I just was like, I was over the shtick. Wasn't really. I just didn't want to ride their parts. It was making me feel uncomfortable while I was riding. And I was just, it was just being sponsored and thinking about like riding to present yourself a certain way, or riding because I think that the edit is going to be reshared. Like, I don't know how many times I had like sat there, had the edit for Instagram or whatever ready to go, made it, uploaded it, and thinking like, oh, I hope they repost it or at least share it on the story or something. I just didn't want to be putting all my time and effort that I put into BMX just for this tack on like artificial feeling that I might receive. It was like, if I'm not sponsored, I can ride my bike, do what I want, post about it. And the weird thing with social media is because it will like can make you feel very happy or very proud or really like down about like your hard work. So at least I can only feel down about my own fan base, which my fan base is mostly people that know me or have rode with me or actually respect my like riding and like it. So I can only think that, you know, they just must have not opened up Instagram or it must have not hit their algorithm a certain way. I don't have to feel like, oh, my identity is hurting as a sponsored rider now because like the company's not like reposting or sharing. It's just in my own pool of like my world where I know the thoughts that I'm feeling about why people like missed a post or something or some reason are illegitimate because I know that people care about me.
Did they like comment or say anything to you?
I would get comments every here and then. I don't know like a comment to post ratio. I don't really keep track.
I'm saying
of it.
on the when you like said you were done.
Oh, I mean from honestly, it was just mostly people that like knew me. And
Well, I'm saying from Stavrosa or Shadow. Like when you posted saying I'm done.
They reached out to me. They messaged me and were like, we're sorry you felt that way. We didn't really see it coming. I hope that you are fruitful in your next steps.
I wonder if they thought you had something lined up.
I have no clue. And I didn't have anything lined up. I feel like a lot of people drop a sponsor nowadays and get on to their next sponsor.
Yeah, they probably presumed that you did have something lined up.
Right.
They probably were like, we're getting burned on this one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have anything lined up, but it did work out.
Got that Breaking Free sponsorship, bro. Team Breaking Free.
Absolutely.
At Breaking Free. Wait, was it? At Team Breaking Free?
At Team Breaking Free.
Let's go.
Breaking Free bikes, Breaking Free skate park, all that. But I was like I met Robbie Taylor when I went to North Carolina, and he's the team manager at Eastern, warehouse manager at Eastern. And I didn't know the impact he would have on me, but looking back on it, I'm so glad I didn't have the influence of like thinking about being a sponsored rider. Like I'm glad I was not sponsored when I met this dude who like played a pivotal role in the scene. Like it removed all that barrier towards like us like meshing probably that might have been there because of like the support
you're just representing you.
Yeah.
Like that point I said before, like when you're sponsored, you're now representing them.
Right.
You, but also them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you chose freedom
yeah, that's
over, essentially some weird undefined employment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was never actually sponsored. And mostly because I just didn't. You kind of have to like suck up to the right people in many cases to get sponsored. Maybe not if you're as good as Jack Seeley, but it's a lot of it. A lot of it in BMX and skateboarding and scootering. It's like who you know and who you blow. Very much who you blow, right? I have plenty of friends that they're just like always hitting up the same dude. Yeah. Always hitting up the same dude. I'm like, dude, why are you sucking that dude's? Like it's like, and then because we all know why. We know why, because he works for blah blah blah, or he's the guy from blah blah blah. It's like I never ever played that game with anyone, and a lot of times like the beef I had with some of the kink guys was because I didn't care that
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Like, to some degree, it's kind of fair that a lot of the OG kink guys in Rochester were kind of like royalty. They were BMX royalty. When I moved here, the kink dudes were like celebrities in Rochester.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. Like I used to go to the bar with Tony Hamlin all the time, and like everyone knew him. Everyone knew him. There'd be like random people at the bar. Like okay, Rochester in general is a sick city for action sports. When I moved here, there was like Marshall Street was the bar where all the skaters went and the bikers went. There'd be like random dudes or chicks wearing kink shirts or Krugco shirts. Like people, non-action sports riders wearing action sports apparel of the local brands. It was awesome. And some of the kink guys, like when they went to the bar, like people were like, oh, that's so-and-so. Like it was really cool. But I was never like, okay, you're BMX royalty, like whatever, you know, like we're just dudes, you know, like, and that
playing with toys
that rubbed some people the wrong way. And I was hooked up by Fit for years, and I got treated really, really well by S&M Fit, mostly Fit. But that wasn't through sponsorship. It wasn't because I was good at riding. I was good at riding, but it was because I ran the bike shop. I had the team. I did the events. We sold, one year, probably 2007, 2008, we sold 100 Fit bikes at the bike shop.
Oh my gosh.
On top of selling kink and Eastern and probably Harrow still. So like the path isn't always, I want to be sponsored, you know?
Right.
And when kids, it's, you know, I'm sure a bunch of you guys in the chat, because you're all really good at riding. If you're halfway decent at riding and you're at the local outdoor park, little kids are going to be like, are you sponsored? Like, as soon as you could land 3 tricks, right?
Yeah.
And I used to always look at the kids and go, no, because my opinion's not for sale.
Right.
And they wouldn't get it. They never got it, you know?
Right. I always felt, like when people would ask me, are you sponsored? And I would tell them, I'm sponsored.
I'm sure
it made me
feels
feel
great,
like,
dude.
I don't know. It made
It felt like
made
a
me
cheap
feel
whore.
cheap. I was trying to say cheap. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing is like, you could work hard to try to be sponsored, or you can work hard to become that cornerstone of your scene. You could be the one who's like, I'm going to plan the events. I'm going to do the street jam. I'm going to have a team. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to do a shirt drop. You could do that stuff. And like, forever, I've always been like, I'm just going to do the thing that I want someone else. I wish someone else would do this, and they're not. So I'll do it.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you want to be sponsored, maybe you just make the thing that sponsors. You create the entity that people want to be sponsored by.
Exactly.
You know, like just do the thing. You know.
Yeah. That's why at school I had motivation with a couple buddies to start a welding club, where we saw the opportunity where there was some welders and welding tables, space, and equipment in this metals lab that we have that was just being used for like nothing. And there's like teams that make race cars that do a little bit of welding, right, at RIT, maybe more than a little bit of welding. But we wanted to be like a public resource to where anybody who's not just the one, like the guy on that team, can get access to like learning a trade and like building something applicable and thinking and considering it. So I see the parallel between like, you know, starting your own company, because that's essentially what we had to do, is start our own company to offer the service, to offer the welding experience, to offer a reason to our departments and the RIT funding group to take our initiative seriously and help us like put new equipment in there. And it was pretty cool because I got to work with a really like unique executive board. We call it E-board, which is just like, you know, the board members of the run the thing. And like been on that since the beginning, and getting to like get to have this vision and shape the experience how you might have wanted to get treated when you were a brand new freshman, or needed a club or needed an outlet of something to go do in your free time. Because I kind of avoided the race car teams. I thought they were really cool, but I just didn't see myself fitting in, and I had a lot of like anxieties about trying to do work in like their spaces and like become a part of it. I don't know. I wanted it bad, and it was just a thing where I didn't act on it. So I'm glad that I got to take my unique experience of not really like knowing what I should be getting out of a club, but more promoting what I think is really beneficial towards people, and what is going to keep people coming back and keep being motivated to learn the trade that we're trying to promote.
It's pretty interesting that you wouldn't think. I think a lot of people wouldn't think you would be like nervous and anxious about something, because they'll just see you ripping on a bike and just think that, oh, you must be, you know.
Yeah, but being in a situation where you're with like really smart like engineers who know how to use like machining equipment, and like using these high specialty tools, and like, you know, having these design meetings about ideas and like all this stuff, things that I might be capable of, but things that these people are taking just as seriously as I'm taking riding, putting every soul of it into it. And like maybe that's just what I needed, is not being that person that's like the, you know, the tippy top of like this, the like, oh, it's my design and it's like badass for this reason, and I made it, and all this. I think what I've done with my club is help put like a check on myself, because I'm not like a professional welder. Like, none of us in this club are. We're just working really hard at this subject because we want it to be publicly accessed, and we want people to know that welding projects are available and can be considered by us, taken seriously, and that you actually have a way to act on your ambition to weld if you're in a space like me, where I knew I wasn't going to be that one person on the race car team that was the welder. I had to go out and basically get it myself, and it took working with a team to do that. We wouldn't have this club without the team. We wouldn't have the club without local funding and support by like Rochester Arc and Flame. We're in American Welding Society. We're like actually certified as a student chapter, and it's taken a lot of like work just to get certified and recognized. So
that's cool though. You're giving it back, you know?
Yeah, totally. I personally haven't like progressed on welding a lot as a function of the club. I've practiced a little bit here and there, but more what I'm trying to do is offer like, people have to have people the space to do to do projects, and figuring out the design process in using like equipment that historically has been hard to access on campus. But I'm gonna take this technical elective for school. It's like a class at Rochester Arc and Flame for like learning welding through like a kind of an engineering lens. I think it's a pretty like well like scoped out cool course. It sounds fun, and I've had some friends that have had a really good experience taking it. So I want to like use that opportunity to like get to know the people that run that system and figuring out what works like for them and how we can work together. Because we've already done a couple of collaborations where we do like some building and welding phase, like building and welding day at Arc and Flame. We've already done like design and like material processing at RIT. We just needed like a big space with a lot more equipment and like bigger fixture tables and like more fixtures than we have to offer. So like being able to work with them and make events happen so that we can show that we're offering the trade to students, things like that. Because like sure you can go to any welding school. You could go to Alfred State for welding. You could go to whatever else welding school dedicated for welding. But this is more of a venture to help like engineers and artists work creatively, collaboratively together on projects and have a good time at it and make it like a social thing. I'm friends with a lot of club members and it's a good positive environment. Like I like it.
Delaney said that you're lying and that you're an epic welder.
I can do a good job when I like have to, when I know it's, but I don't have.
You do all welding, or what do you do?
I can run MIG, TIG, and stick welding.
Okay.
I am not. I don't have a lot of hours under my belt. I like
TIG takes a lot of time.
Exactly.
I've only ever really TIGged. I never really did MIG. I've never touched a stick welder.
Right.
I pretty much
stick is really fun.
I pretty much
I have a lot of respect
was
for the
taught
TIG.
on TIG, and that's all.
Yeah.
All I do.
Well, I want to get my hours up.
I had no formal training or schooling. I had trial by fire.
Good, and that's the way. That's like the motto. Like we promote is like, like mess around with the settings, like make mistakes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy Phil, he's a welder.
Mm-hmm. Phil the welder.
Yeah. He does insane stuff now. He'll be on the show sooner or later.
Sick.
He's a good friend of mine. We did breakfast this week.
Oh, nice.
But, like he literally just was like, come to the shop, and he's like, if you're gonna show up, we start at 6 a.m. So if you're not gonna be here at 6 a.m., don't show up. I was like, understood. And it was like he set me up with the welder, and he's like, here's some metal, all the scraps over there, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like that's literally how I learned how to
awesome.
And I was going home and I was trying to watch some YouTube videos, but literally it was like he taught me how to grind tungsten.
Yeah.
Which I spent a lot of time in front of that bench grinder.
Right.
And it was like, do it until you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was even funny because then I could weld. And then he'd say, well, why didn't you do that? And I was like, because I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. He's like, I was like, I figured out how to make it work, but I wasn't learned technically anything of what I was doing. I learned that after I could make it happen.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hilarious.
Dang.
Having a TIG welder is, I guess any welder really, is just sick. Like having that in your pocket, so many things, so many problems become solvable when you could liquefy metal.
Right. Yeah, you can make the world what you want it.
And also, like the amount of time when you work in the metal shop, the amount of time you spend with an angle grinder, that's a tool.
Yeah.
Like when I redid all the suspension in my car, I just cut it all out. I just straight up, like it was all seized and all screwed up, and I was like, "Fuck it." I was like, damn, swearing again. I just started cutting it out, just like, and Blaze was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't care. I'm cutting it all out. I figured it out. Like, it doesn't matter."
Right.
And I forget to other people that you just see me.
Yeah. Did you just total your car on accident? Like, you start taking it apart too much. Like, is it gonna be certified? But whatever.
Yeah, welding sick. I had a crack. The last frame I had from Fit was a Mac frame.
Oh.
And it cracked pretty quickly. And I like grinded all the paint off and like re-welded where it broke.
Yep.
And actually gave it to Mark.
Nice.
I don't think he ever wrote it, but I gave it to him.
All right. Keepsake. Did you drill out like the end of the crack, or you just kind of like?
I just like went over the top of it. I just kind of basically went over it once without any filler and just kind of fused it back, and then did one pass over the top.
Nice.
It's chromoly.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's I've never really been one to weld
Adam
frames.
Brennan's in the chat.
Adam's here. I saw Adam at Rock City earlier. He showed up to the park.
Did he do a bar spin?
He didn't even bring his bike.
What?
Yeah. He was on his way to work. Yeah.
And I really can't say anything because I never ever ride anymore.
Right.
I think about riding. I want to ride. I want to go get over to the Grease Park and ride. But my life
fun.
is just so freaking busy. Like I said earlier, I like the BMX kid in me is like so sad all the time because I want to ride. Like I want to ride. Like I go past all these street spots. I see stuff. I'm like, oh my god.
Are you still working on your Google Maps? You still putting pins?
No. I just give all my pins to the scooter kids now, dude. Like
sick.
I don't.
Because they're out there with the camera. Like the scooter scene here is sick.
The scooter kids are putting in the work and they're creative. So I'm like, dude, this spot, check out this spot. You know,
totally.
I mean, there's basically is a scooter scene here. There's hardly a BMX scene anymore.
I know.
It's rough. Like that's why it's so sad that you're done with your semester and you're getting out of here because like you're one of like the 6 people, you know. And then,
dude, I
might have to start riding when she leaves.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back in the fall.
Cool.
So I'm excited about that.
One more semester?
I have 2 more semesters.
Okay.
So I'll be here in the fall and the spring. And then I plan to graduate next spring.
And then what happens when you graduate?
I don't know. Hopefully
We're not letting you leave. You're staying here, bud. You're part of the scene now.
Yeah.
We'll get you a job.
I got to just start pushing for the full-time job offers. I would like to do something engineering.
What are you looking to do?
I want to do some sort of like testing and manufacturing engineering, something different than what I
should hook you up with Jimmy. You gotta talk to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy's been on the show. He does that.
Jimmy
Rathbun, yeah.
Okay.
He does like some sort of digital 3-dimensional. You put in like the material and it does like these like like
sick. So
he's designed a bunch of bike parts for Coalition and Terrible One and Kink back in the day.
Yeah, I'll have to get tuned in with him. It seems like a really good resource.
He works in Henrietta. He worked at that company for years. Then he was in Michigan. Okay. Working for Bollinger? It was one of these like e-truck companies, Instagram companies or whatever.
Interesting.
And they said that was basically just like an Instagram company. It was never really going to go anywhere.
Yeah, startups.
He's back in Rochester and working for the company he worked for years ago. And yeah.
Wherever the full-time job is that's I don't know. I'm pretty flexible. I really like it down south.
Too hot, dude. It's hot. There's bugs.
It's just
Rochester's where you want to be, dude.
Yep. If we can make the job happen. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm over the winter situation.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm with you. I like.
A lot of us New Yorkers will want to go to Florida because
that's too far.
You think they have the best winters, right? But then I think the summer is chaotic.
There's no spots. Florida sucks for riding. Everything is flat and boring.
Yep.
And all the roads are in a straight line. It is just bleh.
Yeah. I don't see the craze for Florida. I think like NC is a really good
South
happy
Carolina,
medium where like you can deal with like August. That's just like a real hot month. And then it tapers off like really nicely throughout the fall. You'll probably get a snow like here and there in the winter. But nothing about like nothing about, not seeing the sun for months on end. That's just what does it for me. I don't mind the snow. I like using the snow for like skiing, snowboarding. I always had fun with that when I was younger, but I value like BMX more than those at this point, and I'd rather just be somewhere where I can do it full time a year. And I'm really glad that like I made my decision to come out here based on the ability of this place to let me ride full time a year. But that was still held within the lens of I want to stay in New York State for tuition, stuff like that.
Where were you when you were in North Carolina?
I was near Charlotte area,
Okay.
so I was working
Charlotte.
in Statesville. Right along I-77 is where I was like, that was my kind of main strip, like Statesville, Mooresville, Charlotte. Those were the kind of key points I was at.
Yeah.
And the place was just sick. Like I just clicked in with the scene really well.
I was
There's
like
just
Raleigh a lot.
Yeah.
The few times, I think twice we went to Charlotte, we didn't really find much to ride in the city proper, but Raleigh seemed pretty stacked.
Raleigh, I honestly like I-77 travels north to south throughout like the center of NC, and I stayed like super close to like that region. I didn't really venture too far out east or west. Like I didn't make it to Asheville, and I didn't make it out to like Raleigh.
I hear Asheville is really
Yeah.
nice, but it's pretty hip, huh?
Yeah, and they had the hurricane when I was down there, and that was wild. Like I was thinking about going to just visit and see Asheville like the weekend before that happened, but I had gotten injured and called off that plan. But I was just so content where I found myself, where the job landed me. I met just people that were accepting me, and appreciating me for like
Charlotte's pretty inland.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, probably good 5-6 hours from the ocean there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never went to the ocean when I was down there.
Did you ever go to Rock Hill, South Carolina?
I only went to South Carolina once, and it was, I forget where, honestly, but we went to Whip Snake Skate Park.
Whip Snake.
Yeah, you gotta see Whip Snake. That place is nuts. It was probably an hour below the North Carolina, South Carolina border, and it was awesome. Robbie Taylor took me there like the weekend before I came back home, and it's kind of like a private like skate park situation where you kind of gotta like either be following their Instagram page where they'll post like, oh, Whip Snake's gonna be open this Sunday, like come ride, but like they're super DIY. I want to say, place is nuts.
Well, Google Maps doesn't have anything for it. So.
Nothing for it's on Instagram. Whip Snake,
Yeah.
but that place is worth it. I don't know how what's in Rock Hill for you.
Oh, there's a college campus in Rock Hill, which is home of the no, hold on. It's home of the U.S. Disc Golf Championships for the last like 30 years.
Cool.
Yeah, but Charlotte is like is a mecca for disc golf.
Nice.
There's like Rochester's.
I could picture Charlotte people being big into disc golf. Yeah.
Rochester's pretty big with disc golf. You know, we'll have a couple, maybe 300 members in our club. Mm-hmm. Charlotte's got like 1,500 or something.
Wow.
It's like they have the biggest disc golf scene like in the whole country.
Yeah.
Lots of courses, lots of leagues.
So that's the thing that really showed me that I was in a different area, different region, was the public access to things. Like, it just felt like you could get into parks a lot easier. There would be more like people who were motivated to be at those parks for like the right reasons. It was a thing where the scene just felt a lot stronger than here. And I mean, you're no stranger to know the scene up here is pretty rough for BMX. Just having that, it was almost shocking, like going in and getting like fully accustomed to a region with a scene, like a thriving, like stacked scene.
Rochester
just really cool.
used to have a crazy BMX scene. It was awesome. You know, when I moved here, it was really good. And I mean, maybe partially with what I was doing with the scene, it was crazy. It was epic.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember being younger and being like, I wish somehow I could like live out in Rochester and like go ride with like Tanner and go to the street spots or go ride here. I just always kind of dreamed of that. I would have never
It'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll swing back. It has to. You know?
Definitely.
It has to.
I think we're in for it because I think like we're really getting to see how much like the screens are doing damage, and like I think we've been through like kind of like our first 10-year round sample of like screen generation, and we're seeing that like that did not work. Or hopefully people are like recognizing and picking up on that and are gonna send them out to do like more
hopefully.
like gnarly, riskier stuff,
Hopefully.
like going to the skate park or like going on a hike, being like doing real things.
Well, I really hope that happens because I mean, this skate. I'm done. Like if things don't turn around, I got basically one more winter, and if things don't turn around, I can't re-sign my lease. So I hope it happens, and I hope it happens quick.
Yeah.
Or if my social media continues to blow up, and we can get to the point where
we're making some meta money.
Yeah, getting some TikTok, Meta, Instagram money to pay the bills, then we'll stick around. So either bring someone to the skate park or comment on my videos.
Yeah.
So
share them to the story as well.
Yeah.
Like
the comments are the big thing.
Yeah.
The comments really help with the algorithm, from my understanding. So if
I
I post something, drop a comment, tag Milwaukee.
Yep.
All right, let's do. I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire questions, and we'll wrap this one up. Can I get this one done in under 2 hours?
Cool.
I want to look quick. This isn't rapid fire, but one question. If a company were to reach out to you now to sponsor you, if they called, if they messaged, would you accept it right now, or does it depend on the brand? Or what do you think?
So
where's your mind here with the sponsorships?
So right now, if they had like a goal and a direction with me, and like we're gonna put me on a program where it was like going to develop my character, and it was like a real deal, then I might consider it. But also, for me right now, I know I'm about to go work at Eastern over the summer, and I'll have access to whatever bike part I want. And I already kind of have that situation handled where like the person who is the like Robbie, who's managing the show, he has like a vetted emotional interest in me that and he shows like genuine like love and respect to me that couldn't be bought out over like a signature part, a video part that was going to hit 1 million views. Nothing could ever, like no deal that any BMX company that they could realistically offer me could outweigh the amount of like realness Robbie showed me. So I just wouldn't really, I would have to say right now, I don't want to switch up on Robbie. And maybe that means I'm not gonna like blow up on social media overnight, because they're more of a lower key thing where I don't know, I like it that way, to be honest, where it just feels like more of like a family connection than like a deal. It's just I think if I were to now, I'm not even a rider for Eastern or anything like that.
Yeah.
I agree with the message. I agree with how it's.
So, I mean, generally, it sounds like you would want a company to tell you what they stand for.
Yeah.
And you guys want to be on the same page. And then from there, you could talk
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Versus when you're 15 and you just want to have that tag in your bio.
Totally.
Yeah. It's also different now because you're on a career path. You're in school. It's like even if you got like, we're gonna put you on the pro team, which it's free parts and maybe $100, $200 a
Signature
month
part,
or something like that.
commission,
And you're
whatever.
like, yeah, well, honestly, like where you're at in your life with college and everything and a career path, like even if a company did want to give you like $200 a month, which is like reasonably what you could expect.
Yeah, let's get some gas money flowing. Sure.
It's like
what,
if the obligation for content is too high, it's not worth it for you.
right.
Right? Like, because like you're on a career path. Whatever job you get in engineering is going to be worth so much more
Correct.
than that $200 a month. Like if you try, like do the math, right? Like how much time, especially if we want one post a week or whatever. If you sit down and look at how much time it would take you to make the amount of content the company wants you to make, then you look at the pay, you do the math, you go, Jesus Christmas, like
Yes.
I'm better off just being an engineer.
Right.
Probably better off being a bus driver.
And that's why I like when I was in high school dealing with being on the team, I saw like the reality of like, oh, even if they're going to make you pro, this is the direction. And just me not agreeing with that direction helped me work so much harder towards being in a fruitful, rewarding, interesting field that I can like put time into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Certainly.
All right. We're going to do some rapid fire.
All
here.
right.
Do you have a dream trick?
Do I have a dream trick? I have dreamed about grind to hard truck drivers.
Ooh, okay. It has to be feeble, right? Feeble truck.
I don't know. I always imagined it
pegs?
as an up rail
Well, yeah,
pegs to truck.
Okay. Do I have to get out my up rail? Oh, you're leaving tomorrow, right? So you're gone.
If I come back and there's an up rail, I'm gonna truck off of it. I really like wanted to have the tabletops when I was younger, so I worked hard on those, and that was like a trick that like slowly the dream came true,
Okay.
like that unfolded over time.
What's the best spot you've ever ridden?
Best spot. Honestly, like there's this one spot in my hometown that's not the best spot I've ever ridden, but it's the most meaningful spot that I have ridden because it was like there was like a bank that you could ride as like an inclined plane. There's like a short little like manual pad area that you could like do a manual on with like a little ledge that was tucked into a corner so that you couldn't grind it, but you could do stalls on it. That spot taught me so much about like motivation that I don't have to say that spot. Real spot wise, I really like riding the plaza in Albany. There's just a lot of like marble ledges, good grinding handrails there. There's some like big drops that you can do. It's just real nice. A lot of Albany spots I like.
Favorite rider? Is it still Mark Burnett or?
I've been liking like Tyler Fernangle.
Okay.
I've been liking I've been liking a lot. I've been super non-favorite riders just so I can accept everybody's input like a little better, because I was like modeling after like Mark a little bit too closely and like making that my thing when it was not my thing. And now that I like kind of hold my own, I've just been really passionate about that.
Cool. Favorite Rochester rider?
Probably Tanner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typical. What do you think is the best trick you've ever done?
Best trick I've ever done. I did in my welcome edit to Shadow Sabrosa, I did a a bar spin off one roof, landed onto a different roof, and then that roof I did a 360 off of. That was probably a 12-foot roof. It was really big. It was really
Okay.
fun. Yeah, that was probably the biggest, best trick I've done. A lot of the flat ground tricks I do are pretty.
Yeah.
I like them.
Is there like a famous spot that you wish you could ride? Past or present?
Probably something in Barcelona, but I don't know what any of the spots are called. So probably just like something in Barcelona. You could blast like a 270 table over. I know they have like a lot of plain like bank hip structures that just kind of work. I like stuff like that.
I remember when Fit Barcelona came out.
Yeah, that's my dream place
Crazy.
to ride.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah.
All right, last question. What's the best skate park?
Well, the best skate park is the one that your friends are at.
Oh my God, you're supposed to say Breaking Free, but that's a really good answer, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the park; it's about the homies.
Yeah.
You'd rather be at a budget park with your best friends than alone at the best park in the world.
Totally. If it's wintertime,
That's real.
Breaking Free. If you're in Mooresville, North Carolina has a really, really good skate park that is a skate park.
Yeah.
The place is super
Cool.
sick. I love it there.
Do you have any message, anything you want to say? If you know, to any 15-year-olds that want to be sponsored or anyone, like, I mean, you're leaving Rochester in the next couple of days, right?
Yeah, I'll be out by like next Wednesday. I finish all my finals and everything by this coming Tuesday. So I plan to go home, probably hang out for like a week, get to spend time with my mom and my friends, and then get to work down south for the summer. Come back like mid-August. It's my plan. But if there's anybody, who's riding up and coming, figure out a way to make friends through it, even if the friends aren't on the same toy as you. A lot of the people in the skate park scene are a lot more kind of open to you. Just if you're there at the skate park, that's kind of like the big entrance to a lot of those relationships, just that you're at the skate park to begin with. So take all the interactions like seriously and genuinely. And like you were saying, and like I'm trying to act on, if you see that there is a void, make the product to fill it, and you'll find a lot of reward on that path. And it's a very like wholesome path. If you start your own company, or you start your own welding club, or you start your own skate park, it's super rewarding.
Don't do a skate park.
Yeah. So if you want it, act on it.
All right. Well, on behalf of all of Rochester's scene, bike, scooter, skateboard, everyone, non-rider and rider, it's been a pleasure having you here this winter. And
thank you, Dave.
We're sad to see you go.
I'm just as sad to have to leave all the scene behind for a while. I remember being away and having everything I wanted and could dream of, and having like a different scene in different spots and whatever I wanted, right? I still reflected on Breaking Free a lot, and I was like, I cannot wait to come home, get back to school,
baby,
and have the Breaking Free experience. It was always in the back of my mind, and it probably always will be. It's a cornerstone riding spot in my mind, and it's in this place. You're saying with all the scooter kids, how it shapes them in the different ways that makes them the unique. I think I've let this place rub off on me on the weirder, like the tic-tac stuff, and even to the bigger stuff. Having this place has allowed me to send some of the biggest ramp transition things I've ever done.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Well, when you come back next winter, we'll have to have you on, talk about working at the bike company over the summer, and
I
catch back up.
cannot wait to make a new edition. It'll be really fun.
And I'm sure we'll see you in the live chat.
Yes, I will be tuning in. I will be tuning in and listening.
Good guests coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited for the near future of the Breaking Free podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate if you've just made it or listened the whole way through.
Thank you, Jack.
Dude, for real.
Thank you to our live chat. Thank you to anyone who listens or watches after the fact. You know the deal. This is the BFS Live. It's the Breaking Free Skate Park podcast. We're doing this podcast to expand the reach of the skate park, to hopefully grab people on Patreon to subscribe to the skate park. You can join for as little as $5 a month. That helps the skate park, especially in the summer months when the skate park makes virtually no money. I enjoy doing this podcast. I think it's awesome, but it is a lot of work, just like all the other videos and everything else I do. And it's all in an effort to keep this freaking place open. And like I said, by next winter, I will know if I'm not, I got a year and a half. Basically, I had 2 winters on my lease, right?
Wow.
So next winter, I have to make that call. So hopefully, through this podcast and through all my Instagram reels and everything else I'm doing under the sun, we can keep the place open and keep the dream alive. Otherwise, it would be closing or possibly downsizing. But we'll see, whatever. So
I'm faithful for the future of Breaking Free.
Yeah. So keep thoughts and prayers for the skate park, and
totally
subscribe to Patreon if you can. If you haven't, it would be greatly appreciated. You could also make a one-time donation to the channel. If you go to breakfreeskatepark.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a donate to the cause button.
Wow.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, again, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
Sad to see you go.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the wintertime. Everybody else, keep grinding, and we'll see you guys